Alright YouTube, and today we have a balance patch preview that is coming on the 19th of December, so in about 2 weeks, and you're going to see that this balance patch will be targeting about 3 Moonlight 5-star heroes, 3 Covenant 5-star heroes, and 1 Moonlight 4-star hero as well as 2 5-star artifacts. Let me scroll in a little bit so you guys can see a little bit more easily. So first off, that's getting buffed is Pirate Captain Flan, and this is most likely because she's getting that skin after the RTA season ends shortly. And this isn't actually the same as the old buff, so there was a buff before that they were planning to release, but it got reverted. This is a completely new buff, so they're changing her S1 to steal a buff at 100% chance, and you're also going to see her S2s being changed so that when she gets attacked, she just takes less damage instead of redirecting it to the front, which is a lot better. And also you're going to see that after an ally attacks, if the target doesn't have a buff, you'll activate Hunt, which is that AoE CR push. So basically, the way that her CR push works now is an ally has to activate it, not herself, and the cooldown is longer. So, and this seems overall better in terms of making her team tankier because your frontline unit won't be getting peppered over and over. But the passive CR push up looks okay, but just nothing. I don't think it's even better, right? Because the cooldown's longer. So not really too sure why they decided to go this route. I think the old buff that they wanted to give ML Flan was just a lot better and more fun, but they did decide to go this way, and not really too sure how I feel about it. I don't really play her that much. She isn't really that good, and I think that this is the first time we've ever had like a World Arena skin come out for a unit where the unit is just not that great right now. So I really thought they would buff her a lot more, but they just kind of didn't really buff her that much. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about this character getting buffed here, Pirate Captain Flan. I don't really think that they should have went this way. I think they should have buffed her more and kind of like in a different way to make her more control heavy. The current way that people play her is with Summertime Assyria or Seaside Assyria. Summertime Assyria's artifact with like the bomb, and then you will detonate the bombs with that S1 on the same turn. So she's like a stun bot. I think they should have just included that into her S1 or put a stun into her S1 so that they would free up her artifact slot, because that's like the only way people play her. But you know, they went this way with it. I don't really think it's a good idea. Next we have Closer Charles. Not getting changed too much. Basically what's happening is that he's getting evasion at the start of battle now instead of needing to S3, which is very, very good. Won't really change too much though, because usually Closer Charles teams want to win very quick and they want to go first. You're also going to see that after an ally attacks, if the enemy's health is less than 40% now instead of 30%, he gets that CR push and perception, which is a pretty huge buff for him, right? 10% health is not a small amount at all. And the last thing is you're going to see is that his S1 will actually absorb health now, or absorb some of the damage dealt as health, which will synergize well with his evasion that he gets from his S3 and his passive. Won't really change his usage at all, I think. I think it'll just keep him the same. It'll just make him a little bit more consistent because of how his passive will work now. Next up, we have Archdemon Shadow. So this is going to be a Meru, and basically they're changing it so that her S1 will baseline have that 100% chance to seal, which is very good, right? Her niche is just sealing characters, and they're making it so that she gets it 100%. Soulburn is still the same. You just ignore effect resist now. It was the same before, except it also had that increased effect chance, but now that's just going to be in the baseline. Next thing that's being changed is her S2. So the passive damage reduction from crits is still there, which is very good, makes her very tanky. Now you're going to see that when she attacks with her S1, if the target is sealed, you'll get an attack buff, which will make her do a ton more damage with her burns and stuff like that, and you'll 100% chance activate burst. Before it used to be 40% baseline, and you know, without seal, or with seal, it used to be 80%. Now you need the seal to activate it, and I think this will be way better. There's way less RNG, makes her way more consistent. It'll make her more fun to play against. You won't feel, you know, super annoyed if you get RNG'd over and over. And when you play her, it'll feel way more consistent as well. And the damage is going up a lot. You'll see that the base damage is going up pretty heavily down here, and also successful attack deals additional damage proportional to the caster's attack, and she's getting an attack buff now, and it's AoE, so it's going to do a ton of damage. The only thing is you lose that 60% hit chance, but you know, 60% chance to decrease hit chance, which isn't a big deal because it was another RNG check. Also with their S3, the defense break chance is going up to 80%. So basically what they're doing is they're just reducing a lot of the RNG built into her kit to make her more consistent, which I think is a very good change for her. Now moving into Covenant 5 stars, so we have Eligos. I'm not gonna really lie, I don't really play him too much, so I don't know how this will change him that much, but it looks like he'll be way better against evasion units. So first off, you know, he's getting greater attack buff, or he's not getting it, but when he's granted greater attack buff, he'll trigger a dual attack with the ally with the highest attack. He's going to get that greater attack buff from his passive, your time bomb, right? Which will happen when an ally, except for himself, kills an enemy. And he's also getting increased hit chance as well as crit damage, so it'll make him a lot better against evasion characters. Also, he has inflict resource reduction, which will make him very good against anything that has like fighting spirit and stuff like that. You know, like Navy Captain Landy's, even Summer, what's her name? Summertime Afternoon Soak Flan, right? So Afternoon Soak Flan will also get heavily countered by Eligos. So right now it's like you can't really cleave Afternoon Soak Flan that well, but with this buff to Eligos and this change, he'll be way better against her. And if you're cleaving, you'll have an easy answer to her with Eligos. And then you'll also see that some of his exclusive equipments are getting buffed, right? You can see stealth is now 2 turns at the start of battle, which is very good, and also increased damage, which is also going to be very nice as well. And you can actually redirect this time bomb to actually land on the enemy with the highest attack, so very, very good. Next, we have Chloe being buffed here. Basically, it's just giving her an attack buff and ignore effect resist with her S3 with the stun. Does it really change anything? No, not really. It'll only change like maybe if you're trying to do hunt one-shots with her, but I don't think it'll change anything at all for PvP. Even when we look at her, you know, exclusive equipments here, just because her kit is just really weird, and it's only going to really ever be used for one-shot comps or PvE. Yufine buff, basically, you know, lots being changed here, right? First off, we have an AoE defense break now on her Dragon's Roar, which is going to be very, very good, and you can actually ignore effect resist, which is going to be huge. Next, you're going to see with her S3, she'll actually get an attack buff now, and then when you actually kill an enemy, you'll get an extra turn. Also, you see that when this skill is actually not on cooldown, whenever an ally uses a skill, if the enemy has a debuff, you'll get increased CR. So very, very good. It's going to make her cycle a lot quicker. I can't really say how strong she'll be because it's just a completely different kit, so we'll have to test her out. But she'll definitely be more versatile, and I think she'll be a lot better against tanky characters because she has an attack buff for herself now, and she also has CR push, and she has an ignore, effect resist, AoE, defense break, and silence, which is extremely, extremely strong. So I think this S2 will be pretty insane, right? Also, her concentration is getting changed to crit chance, which is a lot better than attack, so we'll probably see her get a lot more value out of that. Next, we have Sinful Angelica also being changed here. S1 is being changed to decrease defense instead of decrease attack with that forced dual attack. This is like a huge buff on our S1. Decrease attack, sure, it's okay, but if you decrease defense on anything and then you actually trigger a dual attack from an ally with the highest attack, it's pretty much a one-shot, so this is like a huge buff to her S1. Her S2 is also a huge buff. Instead of being that, you know, when the caster is immortal, enemies can't be revived, it's literally just enemies can't be revived, so you don't need immortality. So honestly, you can pretty much build her on a full tank build and not rely on her immortality now if you really want to. Currently, the way people play her is like full squishy, full effect resist, so you can't strip the immortality. Now what you can actually do is play her on different builds. You can drop the effect resist and then just build her on full bulk, which will make her a lot more flexible and a lot more annoying to deal with. Also, you'll see that her S3 is being buffed to dispel 2 debuffs, which is a huge, huge buff now, and it's going to be a very, very good change to her. I don't know if this will make her super meta. I don't think, you know, her being a lot more tankier on a low effect resist build will make her that much better, but this defense break is something to look at, and I think for offense teams, she'll definitely be very strong. Next, we're seeing 2 artifact changes here. First is SIGURD'S Scythe. So this is technically just a change, not really a buff, but overall it should be a buff. And what I mean by that now is currently SIGURD'S Scythe, you have to be below 50% health to get this increased attack buff. Now you'll be getting it all the time, but the attack you gain is going to be less than what it is now. And currently it's flat 25% at all ranks. After the buff, you'll actually need limit break copies to actually get more attack with the lifesteal. So if you're not a whale, honestly, this seems kind of like a nerf because if you think about it, right, Currently, you're just paying more for extra lifesteal, and honestly, when you have it at plus 15, 37.5% lifesteal with this attack buff is usually enough to top you off after a big hit. But now after this, you're going to have to invest more copies, it seems like, and I'm not sure why they're not doing a recall for this artifact, because in some ways it can be a nerf, and in some ways it can be a buff, right? So it's really dependent on the situation, and I know this artifact is definitely an artifact a lot of people have either pulled for or bought a lot of copies from the Powder of Knowledge shop, so not too sure why they didn't recall it, because it's a very controversial change, but you know, I guess Smilegate thinks it's a buff overall. Next we have an offer you can't refuse. I don't really know what this artifact does, so let's actually read it. So when you defeat an enemy with a single attack, increase CR of the ally with the highest combat readiness except for the caster by 10 to 20%. And now it's being changed to after you attack with a single attack, when the target receives damage equal to 50% or more of their max health, you have a 50 to 100% chance to increase CR of all allies by 15%. So yeah, I think this is a lot better. You know, killing a unit is a lot harder than doing damage more than 50% if you are cleaving. So actually, I don't think that's necessarily true, but you know, I think it's just overall a change. And I think CR pushing your entire team is obviously just better here. The new change will make it so that you push everyone. The old one is just one character. So overall, yeah, it is a buff. And I don't really think it'll change too much. Maybe you'll use it on Eligos now, but keep in mind it's only for single attacks. So you mostly took this for the defense penetration anyways. So we'll see. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about this patch. You know, I think it's nothing too crazy. I think Yufine's changes are very nice. You know, I'm very curious to see how she'll be. I will definitely be using her after the changes to see if she'll be stronger. She'll definitely be stronger, but I kind of want to see to what extent she'll be strong. And yeah, I think besides that, nothing too huge except like SIGURD'S Scythe being changed. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about this patch. And also if there's anything that you think Smilegate should do to maybe improve the patch, and I'll see you guys next video.